So, yeah, see that bloody Wedger's been up to his shenanigans again, hasn't he, Voodoo Furs? Yes, he was up there the other night. He was, I don't know where he was, on Facebook or somewhere. I don't know, I don't bloody do Facebook. Yes, he's like bloody dry rotty, isn't he? Gets bloody everywhere. Anyway, he was up there the other night, and it's up on your YouTube. He's got some young lad there that's a new podcaster, and he's weaseled his way onto there, hasn't he? Giving him all that oh so dull backstory of his, which is, I can assure you, Voodoo viewers, it is just a backstory. I've had a good old look into you, John Wedger, over the years. I have. Oh yes, I bloody well have, Voodoo viewers. I've had a good look into the whole murky shenanigans. Because I don't know if you've noticed, Voodoo viewers, but your old girl, she likes a bit of history, she does. Yes, she does. She likes a bit of history, and she likes a bit of politics. And she likes a bit of politics of history and a bit of history of politics. In any given order, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so I can't help myself, me. I mean, what did God give me this big fat nose for? Obviously to snuffle around for truffles like a big old fat pig. That's what God gave me that for. And do you know where he give me that finger? He give me that finger for Google, and he give me that one for DuckDuckGo. So, with that being said, I entered into the fray. And I must say, over the past 10 years, I have been combobulated, both dis and sort of just bobulated, really. Yes, I have. I've had me flabbergasted. I've had all sorts of things happen to me over him. I have. Yes, I bloody well have. And I'll tell you why. Because he's a bloody fraud. He's a narcissist. He's obviously a grandiose narcissist. He's probably one of the cluster B personality disorders. But there is sort of a paper-thin piece of him that I just can't work out whether he is a Walter Mitty, because he obviously is a Walter Mitty. I mean, there's plenty of domains that will show you exactly what a Walter Mitty is. I mean, look at that. The Police Whistleblowing Foundation people, or whatever they're called, support group, they've denounced him again and again and again. They even wrote to that International Court of Natural Justice Mickey Mouse horoscope thing, what he got himself involved in, pushed himself forward. Because you see, the sleight of hand with your Wedgemeister is if he says something enough, then it becomes fact in his crazy little head. Because that's how narcissists work, you see. That thing he keeps going on about, that court of justice, oh yeah, I've been on a government inquiry. It's not a government inquiry, John Wedger. It's not a government inquiry. It's a Mickey Mouse inquiry through a sort of smoke and mirrors, all the people that actually were affected by historical child abuse, which actually has a tangential link from the troubles in Northern Ireland, as I hoped I tried to sort of surreptitiously kind of flag up through two of my presentations that I've done. It didn't just start one day over here, oh, got up and a load of elites thought they'd be a bunch of pedos. No. It's a form of psychological warfare. It's been going on for ages. I mean, I had to start it somewhere, so I started it in Northern Ireland, but if you looked hard enough, it probably started before that. It's a colonial thing. It's come up from our empire, the old shenanigans of undercover and everything. And then enter the Wedgemeister. Now, I've listened to that testimony of his, the Wedgemeister, when he found gold. Do you remember that time he found gold? I think it was on Bexhill Beach, wasn't it, in 2020 during the lockdown. I think Gould was running down the promenade to get away from him, and I think Gould went running off into the sea. And John only went and chased Gould into the sea. Yes, he did. And because he chased Gould into the sea and poor Gould didn't have nowhere else to go, Gould sort of had to say hello to him. And, well, him being a narcissist, a grandiose narcissist, he now thinks he's best friends with Gould. So, as far as John's concerned, from the moment he was born of the Virgin Mary, I mean John that is, not Gould, sorry Gould, John, he was born of the Virgin Mary. And when he got himself born, old John Wedger, yes, he did. There was kings turned up and give him some presents. There's a few shepherds turned up and everything. The Archangel Gabriel was there. That's the way he is now, John. He thinks he's been touched by Gould. And he's there like an evangelical preacher. He's got his little cult fangirls. Well, say girls, they're just old things, really. Make me look like bloody Twiggy, they do, half of them. Anyway, so there he is, he's got his little coven, and he's in with Baldylocks. You know, Baldylocks, the podcaster, he's another shenanigans, he's in with him and all. Obviously, they're a cabal. And it's like when they first started out, it wasn't actually one or any definite things. I think there was a bit of definite. They wanted to sort of everybody to look over here rather than look over there. Because I've actually found out that Jimmy Savile dying was just a sort of red herring, really. It was almost like a think that something just sort of happened that you could all hang your hat on and look at and think, well, yes, Jimmy Savile's died and this is what's caused all this. But actually, if you look into the history of it, it hasn't. Jimmy Savile dying was really, as I've just said, a red herring. All with this historic child abuse has been rumbling around for years. There's that MP, his surname began with P, I'm not going to repeat his name, but he was found innocent. He was found innocent of what he was accused of by Cold Beach, who was obviously a put-up job. He was put up by Exaro and the NAPAC guy that probably wanted government funding and all that. Oh, the shenanigans of galore. You look into it, YouTube viewers. Everything I say, I've only got off public domains. I mean, I'm not bloody Misfit Meg, am I? I'm not bloody Tutankhamun or something. It's not like I know all these things and come back to life, is it? I mean, they're all out there. You only have to have a little prowl around. You only have to get your nose in the trough and have a little look around and you'll find out the same as me. There's a lot of oohs and there's a lot of ahs. There's a lot of things that make you go, as well. You get me? Now, listen. He's a little long 'un. He's obviously taking vulnerable people for a bleeding ride. He attracts vulnerable people, as he would. He's a raging narcissist, as I've said, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had a bit of, I don't know, sociopathy sort of rising in his star or whatever it is. He's not a normal person, and he really shouldn't be around children. He loves talking about words, doesn't he? And words, like I've said to you before, you can use words to actually see into a people's soul, see into somebody's character. And he does use words for specific reasons. For effect, or for the horror, or for the titillation, or for whatever reason. Best known to his twisted little head, really, Voodoo Furs. But anyway, see, the important thing is where I started off with this. I started off where the official narrative wants me to start off. They wanted me to start off in 2012. So that's where I bloody well started, didn't I? And I had a good look at that, you know, Voodoo Furs. And do you know, from 2012, in his own words, in his deposition, what he said to that Uki court thing of whatever it was, horoscopes or something, but he wants us all to believe it was a government inquiry, that one. Yes, that's all up on the interweb, like you can find that. And he was marvellous, you know, he was been in the diving unit, he was looking for, I don't know, Rosie and Jim or something, I don't know what he was bloody well doing. But, zoom forward to 2012, which 2011 Jimmy Savile died, so 2012, he was actually seconded onto a team that consisted of him, and his job, in his own words, printed in his own deposition, was to be sort of infiltrating groups that were likely to create order or disorder, groups and or individuals. So what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means in police parlance. It means he was there standing outside the House of Commons with Belinda Bemused, and if you're in the fraternity, if all you people out there are only switched on because I've put Wedger in the thing so you know it's a Wedger presentation, you'll know who Belinda Bemused is, won't you? So as soon as she turns up, game's on, innit? You all know what's happening. So I thought to myself, what am I looking at here? Well, I'm looking at Belinda Bemused outside the House of Commons in 2012, and next to her is Zen Fellow, Zen Phoenix, Zen I'm a shit actor, that one. Bill Baloney, who's full of baloney, another shit actor, that one. And the Wedgemeister, and nobody else really, just them four. And they used to get themselves down outside the House of Commons and shout and scream about child abuse. But in his own words, he was working on a team that was there to prevent disorder, in his own words. But there wasn't any disorder, save the disorder that was being made by him, and two failed actors, and a known government shill. So I think it's a slam dunk really, isn't it, Wedgemeister? Because we do know actually how they work, these people. You've only got to look back to the eco-warriors and all those eco-what's-its. I mean, some of the undercover people actually married women, had children with them. It happens. It does happen. It's a maybe that he is a shill. It is a maybe that he is, but I've watched him so much, I think, really? Where is our country if that's what they can come up with? Seriously, I mean, the guy is a barnacle. Anything that could possibly be wrong with a person's personality, he has it in spades. I mean, he's narcissistic, he fibs, he embellishes, he exaggerates. It's always about him. Is this really the best the security services can do? Or was it that John did have an nookie career with the police, which he's embellished, which again, if you go into his police record with, again, depositions written by the police whistleblowers support group and group, which are an official group, who have totally denounced him and said that there's no way he's a whistleblower. Going on to other things as well, where he was tied up with Maggie Oliver. Maggie Oliver spoke out, or threatened to speak out, or was thinking of speaking out, right back when this started with the Rotherham and the Northern grooming gangs situation, yeah? And so, conversely, appeared a woman called Jane Senior. Now you're thinking, who's Jane Senior, Gert? Jane Senior is the woman in the photograph where the Wedgmeister is handing her a cheque for £2,000. And if you look into Jane Senior, primarily, my source for her, well, primarily, I found some other stuff about her, but primarily, surprisingly, my source for your Jane Senior was Mumsnet. Mumsnet seemed to know an awful lot about your Jane Senior. And your Jane Senior, and I'm entitled to my opinion, after having looked into her, just comes across to me like a John Wedger. So there's John Wedger giving another John Wedger £2,000 donation of something or other, some Mickey Mouse thing that she's doing. So these people are really quite dark and sinister people. Even if he is now working on his own and he's a Walter Mitty character, or he's working on shady sort of dark forces or something, isn't he actually shit-stirring? Isn't he, like Baldylocks, his famous, world-famous London, based in Guildford, I don't know when they moved Guildford to London, but whatever, Baldylocks, the podcaster, who's obviously, they've got handlers, a pair of them, it's more than obvious. Anyone that can't see that Baldylocks and him are in the same little evil cabal, well, you need your head bloody red, don't you? At the end of the day, Baldylocks, if he's not on there having a bitch fest with somebody over something, oh, somebody's been nasty to me, oh, somebody's been rude to me. I have all these people on my show, and every last one of them I've said, why don't you start your own podcast? Because what, with the Online's Harms Bill, that's what you need, isn't it, really? Yes, that's what the powers that be probably needed, isn't it, Baldylocks? Offering that Ronan Irish bloke £4,000 a week or £2,000 a week and different figures. £2,000 at first, then £4,000 when he got a bit angsty with you, wasn't it, Baldylocks? Yes, we've got your number. I ain't being funny, I clean bogs for a living. If I can see through you, I think your days are numbered. But basically, with the Wedgmeister, we've got him to thank because now Pretty Useless Patel has come out yesterday and said that due to activities all over the interweb, if people are just hurt, then people can get their stuff taken down. It doesn't have to be illegal, the content. It can just hurt somebody's feelings. And basically, we've got Wedger and Baldylocks, haven't we, to thank for that. There are other people out there, I must admit, but I'm not doing a thing on them, am I? I'm doing one on your Wedger and his little minions, his little Belinda Bemused. Belinda Bemused, that's Zen, Bill Baloney, what you're looking at. I remember thinking to myself, what am I actually seeing here, Gert? Are you seeing activists? Or are you seeing two failed actors, a copper on his way out the door, and some old boot that's been, well, I don't know, she's always been undercover, hasn't she? She's been around since bloody, I don't know, Greenham Common, that old bag, hasn't she? Belinda Bemused. The funniest thing I ever see, actually, and it did give me a laugh during lockdown, was when that old goat Wedger was going down to the Speaker's Corner. And he was going down there for the anti-lockdown protest. But he was there to talk usually about himself and how marvellous he was and children and everything. And there old Belinda Bemused was there, and there were some people from the 5G network, which was getting up about that time of the lockdown and all this, that and the other. And she was trying to get herself involved in the lockdown. Oh, I'll collect money for you, I'll set up a website for you. And I really enjoyed watching Belinda and Wedger trying to pretend they didn't know each other. That was my golden moment of the lockdown, that was. I mean, it really was a good laugh watching them. They're just a pair of old goats. What I find insulting, though, is the fact that these people are foisted onto the public to create mayhem for whatever reason. Whether he is actually doing it legit and now he's undercover, he's working with the legacy media, trying to get people off the internet and back. Because, I mean, legacy media is a multi-million-pound industry. There's many millions, hundreds of thousands of people all over the world earn their money and pay their mortgage on us watching the telly, reading their newspapers or listening to their radio. Where people are choosing not to do that anymore has struck me that maybe, you know, maybe people, interested parties, would pay people to get in the old interweb and mix a load of trouble up, so then the governments have to come in and say, oh, we got to put some restrictions on this because we can't have hurty feelings and everything. When probably old what's his name, old Wedger, it won't affect him, will it? Because, well, he's probably pissed half the time anyway, so when he's done his little job, they'll give him a bit of a payout. Or, and here's another variable, which does make me rather grin, he might end up like Cole Beach. When they finish with him shilling, they might do to him what they did to Cole Beach and fit him up and stick his arse in jail as well. I mean, you can but hope, can't you, really? So, there you go, yes. There's another thing about John Wedger. He was on that Baldy-Locks podcast, he was. Baldy-Locks was saying to him, oh, what did you do then, John? Oh, I was in the River Police and I did this and then I did that and then something else happened and this, that and the other. And he said, then I was working on the child protection or something in my mind at least. Anyway, I don't think anybody would leave you near a kid, to be honest. But you were, and then you wanted to work with children because they said to you, you're too good for this job, you can't be on it anymore, John. And you said, well, I don't care what I do, but I've got to work with children. And then Baldy-Locks looked at you and said, so what did you do then, John? You went, oh, I joined the Vice Unit. I mean, you couldn't make you up. To be honest, John, it's a wonder your nose doesn't get so big you won't be able to go through a door sooner or later. But at least we get a laugh out of you and all your inconsistencies and your embellishments and your toadying, little underhanded, weaselly little ways. And you literally, both you and Baldy-Locks, look what you are, a pair of deviant little weasels, the pair of you. And the way you talk filthy on the computer, it's no wonder the government's bringing in guidelines. And it's okay for you, but innocent people that just like having a good laugh on there or maybe just doing their own little podcast are all going to get affected by you, you little weasel.